we're gonna flip over our worksheet and we're gonna start working in the middle here. Do what? What we did on the backside? Oh, that's all right. I mean, do you get the overall concept, or is it not looking like it because some of the diagonals got messed up? Okay. All right. I'll come and check it at some point and we'll see what it is. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do is I'm going to be going over like your steps and how you're going to be mapping out your actual like graffiti project, okay? Because you're getting a non-conforming like paper size. And how many of you have done posters where you've had to like draw your letters out really big and you're super confident and they're super big at the beginning, but then as you get closer and closer to the side, you're like, oh, I'm running out of room. And then your letters start getting smaller and smaller, or you start making it curve. Yeah, we're gonna learn what you do to make sure you don't do that, okay? Do what? Yeah, erase and start again. Well, let's do it to where you just have to figure it out the first time. So, we're gonna find, this is the space that we're working in, so regardless on how big your space is, you wanna find kind of like the midpoint, okay? So try to kind of find the middle and draw yourself a really light vertical guideline. Okay, if you have a word that has an odd number of letters, then your very middle letter is going to go on top of this line. If you have a word that has an even amount of letters, that's going to have a space is going to be there. Okay, I'll explain that more once we get to our actual like graffiti format. Okay, we're going to use the word art. Okay, just because it's just only 3 letters and you even have it on your top corner on your worksheet. So we've got 3 letters, which means it's an odd number, which means our letter R needs to go directly on top of this. So I'm going to try and center up my letter R as much as I possibly can, and I'm leaving myself some space at the top and at the bottom. Then I want to work outwards from there. So then you can choose either one. You can either go to the A or the T. I'll just do the T. So you kind of want to center that up within this space that you have. So letter T, and then I'll flip over here to the A, and I'm going to kind of round out the top of my A. And I kind of wanted it centered within that space also. Okay, so if you had more letters, you would just kind of keep working out. So instead of working from left to right when you do lettering, you should always start in the center and then work your way out from the center every time. Does that make sense? That ensures that you have it centered up. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and do some block lettering. So we've already practiced that a bit. So you just kind of use the same techniques regardless on what letter it is. So I'm going to start with the R, and I like to start at my end caps. So I always put those in first, and then I just go around the letter. Okay, so let's start here on the left hand side. Try to make sure you have equal distance going around the curve here. Gonna finish out this leg. Finish out the other side of this leg, and then straight vertical again. You need to put a space in there for the R, and that basically just looks like a capital letter D. And then I want to go and erase out my guidelines. Okay, so then guys, go ahead and move on to your other letters. We already know how to do the A. And the T, that one's pretty easy. That one's just all like parallel lines. It doesn't have to be neat. So we're gonna change things up anyway. So it's all about just making parallel lines when you're going around and blocking them out. Okay, so there we have kind of our basic blocking. When we do our actual project, like we looked at graffiti examples in the presentation, and we talked about how a lot of those letters are really manipulated, and I even made that comment, like on one of them, I had been teaching this for 4 years and I had just figured out what one of them said. So for our project, we need to manipulate out letters. We need to learn how to make creative text, okay? So if you turn in something like this for your project, you're gonna get very low points on it because you haven't done anything to manipulate out the letters. You've just blocked them out, okay? So that means you're not even trying to attempt. What we're gonna do is just copy this font that we've got going on here. So I'm gonna have kind of a split screen for you. Or if you're following along on the video, once you get there, you'll see how I'm drawing it out. So this text is fairly simple, but at least it's manipulated out more than this, okay? So you would get more points than that, but as far as like creative font goes, you're on the higher end of okay. All right, so let's start with the R. Also notice that the letters are, and like I said, this is the same thing as up in the upper right-hand corner of your worksheet. Notice that there is underlapping and overlapping happening, okay? You also have to show that. Your letters have to have relationships, okay? So they are not social distancing right now. So that's how you can get your non-social distancing in there, was our letters. So they need to overlap and underlap, okay? You can also change on the sizes and stuff like that. Just think of, as we start going in more and more in this unit, start kind of thinking about how can you make your letters, and it's going to be your name, by the way. So think about how you can start creating a lot of interest in here, okay? All right, so first thing I'm going to start with is I'm going to change this from being vertical straight up and down to it's kind of at a diagonal, and it overlaps the letter A. So I'm going to start by drawing inside the letter A. So we're going to be doing a lot of like drawing over and a lot of erasing what we don't need anymore. That's very common in drawing, that you draw over what you've already done and you erase out and change things, okay? So that's kind of what I'm showing you right now. So I'm going to start that leg there. And then this rounded part of the R has kind of changed into an elongated oval that kind of points up and to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw that in there. Doesn't matter if you're drawing on top of stuff. So what I can do is I can go ahead and get in here and take away some of the lines that I don't need anymore. I know that might seem redundant, but it's giving you the practice on how you start simple and then how you can add in your details and manipulate. That inside part has changed from a capital letter D to more of like a like an upside down teardrop or sunflower seed or watermelon seed or whatever you want to, a water droplet, however you want to say. So I'm going to kind of just try to copy that the best I can. Okay, kind of a teardrop shape. Then the leg of the R kind of comes out at a horizontal fashion, and then it angles down into the left, and then it's got a little foot on there. So that's what I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pre-erase. Okay, so for right here, I'm gonna bring this leg out horizontally, and it kind of come around to a curve instead of a pointy angle or corner, and I'm going to let that go down and to the left, and I'm going to stop kind of where I had my original end cap. Okay, so then I need to add on this little foot, which that just comes out. It's just a little bit of a horizontal and then almost straight up and down. So I've got a little bit of a horizontal. Then I'm going to bring that line down, and the end cap is at a diagonal, but it's also curved. So just kind of, as you go through and draw things from observation, just kind of really pay attention to what kind of a line is it and what direction is it going in. So I'm going to curve that out. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of follow my parallels now. So there and there. I'm going to bring this over quite a bit. Okay, then notice that left-hand side, it comes in overlaps. Okay, so I'm just going to try and copy that the best I can. So we've got another curve happening. And to make sure that I'm connecting out, I might bring this in just a little bit more because that was really, really curved. I'm gonna bring that in. Kind of has a vertical right there, so we've got almost like another foot coming in. And then I got a downward to the left diagonal, and then just finish that leg out like that. Okay, you guys got it? Does mine look exactly like the one on there? And is that okay? Yeah. It doesn't look exactly like that, and that's okay. I've just done the best that I could with looking at what's in front of me. Okay, the next letters, we're gonna go a little bit faster, okay? So what we're gonna do here is I'm basically just gonna follow what I see. So on this letter A, I'm going to start where it comes out of the R, and I'm just going to work my way up and around. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little bit faster, and I'm going to have a little bit less explanation. So you just kind of just follow along with me as I'm drawing. All right, let's see what we got going on here. So mine's going to look a little different. That's okay. So I'm going to let that come up here. It's still curvy, but it's kind of more to a point. And then the A has some little add-ons in here, so I'm gonna kind of draw. Darn it. There we go. I'm gonna try and kind of draw these little add-ins coming in here, like that. That comes down here like that. And this middle part of the A juts out as a little add-on. So I'm just gonna try and look off of that and copy it the best that I can. Got a bit of a curve here. Down to the right angle for that end cap. I'm gonna follow on this side that same curve that I had over here. Then I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna erase some things so you guys can see a little better what I've got going on, what's new and what's old. Okay, straight across for this underneath part. This right-hand leg is kind of starting to move off to the side here. It's not curved, it's just more diagonal. Nice long end cap there that goes down and to the right, and then that's going to disappear up into that side of the R. All right, erase some things out, and then I need to go in and kind of figure out that middle. So they have kind of a triangle. If you start with a capital letter L and then make the other side curved a little bit. Okay, there we go. And I think I'm gonna have just enough time to do the letter T, okay? So I'm gonna do that quickly. It overlaps the R. So I wanna start by drawing into the R first. And I'm gonna go fast, okay? So again, I'm just gonna kind of copy what I see. So I'm not gonna do a whole lot of telling you how, just gonna show you how. That can connect out there. I'm gonna go to the top part. That comes horizontally over. top here's got a little add-on, so it's almost like a combo of a lowercase and uppercase T. This arm over here comes up at an angle, gives it a little character. Across there. And this comes down, instead of coming at a corner, it kind of makes a curve down to that point. Then I'm going to erase what I don't need anymore. All right, something like that. Okay? Uh-oh. Okay, we'll have to practice more then. Because you got to get that pretty squared away once you get to your actual graffiti project, or it will not be fun. Okay? All right, guys, so this is as far as we're going to go today. We are going to make these 3D, and so that's going to be our next step that we're going to focus on tomorrow. Okay?